Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mack Story.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today as we continue my 30-part series on my book, Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, Unleash Your Team's Potential. And today we're on part 14 that relates to chapter 14, and it's actually titled, chapter 14 is actually Unleashing Your Team. Subtitle is The Front Line Determines the Bottom Line. If you follow me very much at all, you know that my whole mission is helping leaders engage the front line to improve the bottom line. And a lot of people misunderstand that, and they think that I only deal with growth and development of the frontline entry-level people. And I do, and I'm passionate about it. But how do you actually engage those people? You do that by engaging the leaders, which is what this book is about. It's what this 30-part series is about. Is I always tell people, disengaged team members, that's not the problem. That's a symptom of the problem. Because when we have disengaged team members, it's because there are disengaged leaders. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach when I help leaders engage the front line to improve the bottom line. I help the leaders engage in leadership, and that helps them engage their front line. Because if all I do is come in and engage the front line and the leaders do not get engaged, their best people are going to leave the company. That's not what we want. But the leaders have to understand their job is engaging the front line. If they're not engaged, it's because the leaders are not engaged. So that kind of simplifies it a little bit. So I want to start off today with a quote by Tim Sanders. And Tim says, "To truly get smart, you'll have to strain yourself on many levels. You'll read more than you ever thought you would. You'll have to think purposefully about what you've read and digest it into nuggets of insight. You'll need to put yourself out there discussing these nuggets with colleagues and be willing to debate the issues. Often, you'll have to employ creative powers, associating unrelated facts or examples to give new insights." So those are the words by Tim Sanders, and I think it's pretty powerful. And it's actually what I'm doing in my book and on this podcast is I'm thinking purposefully about what I've read, and I've digested it into nuggets of insight. And now I'm putting myself out there and discussing these nuggets with other people and debating the issues. And when you're dealing with principles, there's really not a whole lot to debate. It's kind of like gravity. You can believe in it or not, but when you step off a ledge, you're going to fall to the ground whether you believe in gravity or not. And that's what these leadership principles, they're just like gravity. And I want to help you raise your level of awareness so you understand all these principles so that you can become aligned with them, get better results, engage yourself at a higher level, and engage your team at a higher level. Help you develop a high-performance team full of high-impact players. So if high-impact leadership begins with you, but it's not about you, what is it about? And I just mentioned it. I talked about it in the last episode. It's about you unleashing your team to perform at a high level. And really, I'm saying a higher level. That's what high-impact leadership is about. Unleashing your team to perform at a higher level. That's your responsibility as a leader. It's my responsibility as a leader. I'm trying to do it with you right now. I'm trying to, through all my podcasts, whoever's listening, I'm always trying to motivate and inspire them to transform themselves and climb to a higher level and beyond. That's what we have to do. We're on the same mission. So high impact leaders release their team while managers of people suppress their team. That's one reason teams are not engaged. They don't have high impact leaders. They've got bosses who manage them like things and objects and treat them like things and objects. And the result of that is a suppressed, disengaged team. And I'll share with you, I actually got to pull it up on my phone while I'm talking to you, but I stored it this morning because I want to share it with an organization we're speaking at in Washington, D.C. in the next few weeks. But it was about an article I had read, and the article was talking about basically 67% of the workforce is disengaged, and that's nothing new. You could go back and look at research studies pretty much far back as you want to go. They pretty much always say 70% of the workforce is disengaged. And why? And this article I read recently, it had some more statistics based on research. And they said 79% of employees who quit their jobs claim that a lack of appreciation was a major reason for leaving. That's basically 80% of people leave. And part of the reason they're leaving is they're not even appreciated for the job that they're doing. That's poor leadership. That's low impact leadership. It also states 65% of Americans claim they were not even recognized one time last year for the work they do. Pitiful leadership. That's low impact leadership. Or what I was just talking about here, that's management of people. Bosses who manage their people instead of lead their people, they don't show any appreciation. They think that's why we're paying them to do the job. Why do I have to go pat them on the back? Another stat, 82% of employees feel their supervisor doesn't recognize them for what they do. And the last thing here, 60% say they are more motivated by recognition than money. All those stats I just told you or read to you, all examples of low impact managers of people suppressing their team. What's it lead to is high turnover and bad word of mouth advertisement for the leader and for the organization. That's why organizations can't find good people, because the people who work there don't want to work there, and they're telling everybody in the community and in the industry that. That's why this type of leadership, growing and developing leaders within organizations who lead like this and then who develop their team members and unleash their potential, they can attract great talent. Organizations with poor leadership, one of the first things you can tell that they have poor leadership is they always say we can't find any good people. Very well-led companies, they don't have to find good people because they attract great people. And the way they do it is by the culture they create within the organization. Not easy, it's hard. That's why there's not a lot of great companies out there, because there's not a lot of great leaders out there. But I'm excited to be talking to you and have you listening, because you either are one of those great leaders or you're on your way to becoming one of those great leaders. And the thing is, we never arrive. We're going to always be under construction. So one reason managers don't focus on leading themselves well is because they're not focused on leading their team at all. Their focus is on management of the team and the processes. It's what we just talked about. If I'm managing my team as objects, there's no reason for me to learn leadership. There's no reason for me to be listening to a podcast like this or reading a book like this or studying about leadership. The sad truth is, most people in a formal authority position, they don't study about leadership. And that's the reason why. They do not have to, because their focus is not leading. They're managing. And all you need is a position of authority to manage people. Because you're the boss, that comes with a certain level of artificial influence. It's not real. It comes with a position and title. But your team's results are based on your ability to lead them The foundation for leading them well begins with leading yourself well. So congratulations. You're doing it at this moment. I don't know you maybe I do, but I'm proud of you for putting this responsibility on your shoulders. I'll show you what this kind of looks like out there, and you already know it because you've been, unless you're an extremely lucky person, you've dealt with managers of people in your career. Likely that you may be doing it at the moment. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're already working with a high impact leader. But I want to kind of show you what it looks like and feels like. So if a high impact leader's team is not performing as well as it should, the high impact leader looks in the mirror and asks themselves, how can I help my team? What am I not doing that I should be doing for my team? What can I do better? And how can I get better? And also, what do I need to know that I don't know? Those are the kind of questions that a high impact leader asks themselves when their team is not performing at the level they think they should be. But let's look at the other mindset, the management mindset, those bosses who manage their people like objects. If a manager's team is not performing as well as it should be, the manager looks out the window instead of in the mirror. The manager looks out the window, and they don't ask themselves questions by looking in the mirror. Instead, they look out the window and they say these things. They aren't working hard enough. They don't do what I tell them to do. If they just do what I said, everything would be better. Those people don't listen. They don't work together as a team. They're never going to be a team. You see that? You feel that? That's two completely different mindsets. So again, if you listen to this, take it to the next level. Get this book, get some of my other books, learn this stuff, teach this stuff to your teams, regardless of their title and position, and make a high impact. So high impact leaders don't focus on the things they can't do. It's a waste of time and energy because their goal is to make things happen, not watch things happen. High impact leaders don't think, can I do it? They think, how can I do it? That's a completely different mindset. As soon as I ask myself, how can I do something? Now I got to figure out a way. As soon as I ask myself, can I do something? I could just say, no. No, I can't do it. Next. But when I say, how can I do it? That engages my mind at a completely different level. So I want to share a quote with you from Marcus Buckingham. And I shared some of that information from that article, some of those statistics about recognition and things like that. And this kind of relates to that. So this is the words from Marcus Buckingham. Praise isn't merely a reaction to a great performance. It is a cause of it. Less than a third of people report that they frequently receive praise or recognition for good work. This suggests that they did something at a level of excellence and no one praised them for it, or that they haven't performed at a level of excellence recently. Of course, neither is a good thing. Those are the words by Marcus Buckingham. And as he said in there, less than a third of people report that they frequently receive praise or recognition for good work. That's poor leadership. You shouldn't be recognizing everything. You shouldn't be recognizing someone for showing up at work. But when they're doing a good job, you need to recognize them for it. And hopefully then you'll be able to start recognizing them for doing above and beyond what's required. That's when you know you're making some stuff happen. So another quote to wrap up this episode, and it's from Arnold. I believe his last name is Glassow, Glassow. However you pronounce it, I don't know. I don't really care, but I would care if I could get it right, but I don't know what's right. So we're going to go with that. And Arnold says, a good leader takes a little more than his share of the blame, a little less than his share of the credit. That's what we're talking about. He's calling it a good leader. I call it a high impact leader. I'll read it to you again. A good leader takes a little more than his share of the blame, a little less than his share of the credit. And it could also be a her. His or her. I'm just reading the words from the quote that I got from Arnold. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Get out there. Get yourself engaged. Unleash your team's potential, because the front line determines the bottom line. Have a great day. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen, or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mack Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mack's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.